So you've thought about moving to Chicago, but your perception of our wonderful city is something out of an SNL skit. We're way more than that. Today's video, we're going to be talking about 25 things you must know before moving to Chicago right now. Hi, I'm Anant Deoras, and if this is your first time watching my videos, I'm a local realtor, and through my The Chicago Life YouTube channel, I produce videos for folks thinking of moving to and within Chicago. Seriously, if you're looking for videos about what it's like to work, play, and live in Chicago, this is the channel for you. I've lived here for 25 years and I absolutely love it. Number one, this is 25 things you must know before moving to Chicago. Pizza, of course, it's gotta be pizza. Now this is in no particular order. I'm just gonna be giving you 25 things you need to know. Pizza, you know, I went to Loyola University. Shout out to my Ramblers out there that are watching. And the first meal I had when I moved, I'm not gonna date myself here, but when I did move and I had dinner with my folks and my roommate, I had Giordano's famous pizza, and of course I had the deep dish, right? Because that's what we did. I lived in Illinois and we'd always used to travel growing up. We would get the deep dish. Stop. Forget deep dish. Probably gonna get a lot of angry comments, and I welcome them. But deep dish is a pie. It is way too much, okay? What you need to be eating here and what true Chicagoans eat is the tavern style pizza. It's thin, not necessarily super thin. You can get it thin, well done, with simple ingredients. Yes, we will judge you if you put pineapple on your pizza. So that's number one, pizza. Get the tavern style, leave the deep dish at home, and don't even bring up any type of New York stuff. Number two, bars, right? So bars has a really rich culture here in Chicago, specifically your local bar. Chicago is local. And even though you may be new and you're considering, you can really quickly, and it's a really great way to meet friends. I have my local bars. Some have closed, RIP, Wicker Park Tavern. But every Chicagoan living in the neighborhoods has a bar where they frequent, and bars is really big here. So it's a great also way to get into sponsorships and play the intramurals. But particularly also if you're an alumni, every bar has a sponsorship with, you know, typically in the Big Ten, there's a huge Big Ten presence. So Iowa, Michigan, etc. So bars is really big, and you're really gonna quickly learn where those bars are. So if you went to a college that's a really big football program, you can easily make friends and connect with people at bars. Number three, now bars go hand in hand with sports, and particularly local sports. So you're gonna have to really quickly adapt to Chicago sports. Bears, Cubs, Hawks, Bulls. I think I forgot one. All right, White Sox, I'm a diehard Cubs fan. So make sure, particularly if you're coming from another town, it's just part of life. Sports is so huge here as a Chicagoan, and really you'll quickly adopt one of those teams. Any of those teams, you can watch them everywhere. So get ready, because sports is huge on Sundays, on Saturdays, during the week, and in the summer. Sports is huge. Get ready. That's number three. Number four, weather, right? The elephant in the room, weather. It's cold. I really don't know how else to kind of say that. And of course, it's all relative. You're coming from Arizona. Every month is going to be cold for you. But now here, I'm shooting this in November. It's actually not that bad. We're going to get a couple of 60 days, and that happens. You get a couple of 60 days, but be ready. There could be multiple seasons in one day. So it can be 60 and go drop down to 30 pretty quick. And actually, I'm splitting this up into two. That was number four. It's cold. But number five, I'm going to throw this in here too, the wind. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about the name of Chicago. I know everyone's heard of Windy City. Of course, forget that moniker. But the wind, yes, wind can basically reduce the temperature, that wind chill, 10 to 15 degrees. So it's a combination of both. Most people can handle the cold, but when you couple it with the wind, it can get kind of bad. So that's that weather, cold and wind. 4 and 5. Number 6, our name. Okay, as I mentioned in the previous one, take that Windy City, remove it from your vocabulary. Remove Second City from your vocabulary. Please remove Chi-town from your vocabulary, or even shy. Just call us Chicago. We're Chicagoans. We live in the wonderful city of Chicago. So the name is Chicago. Simple as that. Let's move on. Lucky number 7, the grid system. So actually how Chicago is laid out is very, very easy. Of course, it'll be difficult when you're just moving in here, but really starting down over in the downtown at State and Madison, which is 0, everything is on increments. So basically every couple of hundred. So really, really fast, you're gonna know 2400 north is Fullerton, 2800 is Diversey, 3200 is Belmont, et cetera, et cetera. So that grid system makes it very, very simple to kind of know, okay, where you're going. So that's grid, that's number 7. The people. So overall, Chicagoans are friendly. Now, for some of my folks, I've talked to, of course, network with a lot of local realtors in many other states. And particularly in the southern states, I've heard that people are very friendly. They'll start, come up to you and have a conversation. That's not going to happen here. But if you have questions, you're lost, you go to anyone, people are going to help you. So all in all, we're friendlier, much friendlier than that New York City, that rotten apple. Just kidding. But yeah, we are friendly people. 9, transportation. So from your train, bus, bike, and of course, world-renowned O'Hare, Midway, you can get anywhere in the world, and locally, you can get anywhere with public transportation. So if you actually wait till the end, towards the end of the video, right up over there, you're gonna see, I actually did a video on transportation in Chicago, but it's tremendous. So, and actually it would lead into my next point, but here, number 9, transportation. Leave the car at home, really, unless you need it, and your work is going to be in the suburbs and you want to live in the city, leave the car. I just mentioned transportation, both local train access and what is called kind of intra areas from the city, the metro. Leave the car at home. It's also expensive to have insurance. And of course, parking could be $250 and up, indoor parking. You don't need a car. This is number 10. Let's go on to number 11. Traffic. What's the saying? There's only 2 certainties, traffic and taxes, right? Well, I guess 3, death. So, no, I don't mean to be morbid, but traffic, again, kind of related to the car. Leave the car at home. If you have to have the car, you're gonna have to deal with traffic all throughout the day. Unfortunately, there are accidents. Chicago, I believe, is ranked number 2 most recent third-party search firms, but it's usually in the top 5. There's gonna be a lot of traffic. You're gonna have to deal with it. The lake is east. Kind of makes it easy, kind of related to the whole grid system. I mean, you can't really go any further east. You're in the lake. And it's not a river, it's not an ocean, it's a lake. We do have the river, Chicago River in downtown, but Lake Michigan. So, people are really surprised that actually in the summer, you can go to the beach. Okay, well, it's not gonna be California, it's not gonna be Florida, but you have that option in those summer months. So when you go east, all you can really go is to the lake, and then everything moves out west. Real estate. From concrete lofts to soft lofts to fully enclosed bedroom lofts, townhomes, high-rise condos, and single-family homes, Chicago is unparalleled as far as diversity in the housing stock. And of course, as a local realtor, if that is something you're considering, these are 25 things you must know before moving to Chicago. If you're considering buying a home, of course, I can most definitely help you with that. Walkability. So, of course, with all the public transportation, that's great, but there's just sometimes that you need to walk. You're not close to it. And Chicago is such a wonderful walkable city. As I mentioned, with the grid system, you can really walk anywhere, and a mile is really quick, particularly when it's good weather. Now, of course, as we get into December and January, that may change, but Chicago is absolutely a walkable, probably one of the best walkable cities in the nation. Chicago may be considered a concrete jungle, but it definitely does not lack lush parks. So there's definitely something that you need to know. There are parks here. Garfield Park, Washington Park, Wicker Park, Humboldt Park, Lincoln Park, and that's just to name a few. There are plenty of lush parks within the concrete jungle for you to kind of get away and decompress. Chicago has 77 communities. And many people say Chicago is a city of neighborhoods. That's just the communities. Within the community, you probably have 3 to 5 neighborhoods. You can see how it can really add up. So I know it can seem a little overwhelming, but just understand is how it's broken up. 77 communities. Of course, I'm here to help in any way I can. So you do have your work cut out for you on where you'd want to live. But Chicago is made up of 77 communities. Just like real estate is local and is on the neighborhood level, shopping when you're in Chicago is very local, not just local in the neighborhoods, but people want you to be shopping at that mom and pop. It's really, really proud. As proud Chicagoans, we want to support our local mom and pop. So if you're kind of coming from an environment where you got the strip malls and more of the corporate feel, Chicago probably isn't the best. Now, they're there, right? They're there, particularly in areas where maybe they have really high rent. They do occupy some of the storefronts, but you really want to have the mentality of kind of focusing first on the mom and pop, support them, that supports the community. So that is Chicago. Chicago is local. Chicago is small business, really, really pro small business. The art scene. Thriving is an understatement. From the Loop area, the theater district in the Loop, to going into the neighborhoods and all the local theater houses. Of course, improv at the world famous Second City and comedy at Zanies. We have something for everyone. It is very, 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 you can go a show. If you get tired of the bars, you can go to a comedy club. You can go do improv. It is amazing. So it's really, really, and in my opinion, underrated. So make sure you really start understanding and researching this wonderful art scene in Chicago. It is tremendous. The accent, sausage, over there by the Jewels. So look, there's going to be a portion of Chicagoans that do have the accent, and of course they're proud just like anyone else, but you got to realize that Chicago is just not a national city, it is a world-renowned international city. So the accent's a little bit overrated. Again, it didn't really help with those SNL skits, but you may notice it when you come here, but it's not as apparent. But yeah, you do get the sausage. You got to say sausage, right? Just kidding. But the accent is part of it, and there is a certain portion of us proud Chicagoans that use that accent. Food. I can't even there's not enough time to really mention the unbelievable food from Thai to Indian. There's actual neighborhoods, Little India on Devon. You go up on Argyle, you got a Little Vietnam. You go in Chinatown, of course, Chinese, Asian food. It just so many to count. You'll basically could go for years and still not be able to explore all the places. So if you're a foodie, you're really excited about food, then that's something that you should know, and you should be moving to Chicago immediately. But food is definitely a top destination, top foodie city here in the US. Cost of living. I mean, there's going to be some quote unquote cons. This is not really a pros and cons video. 25 things that you absolutely should know before moving to Chicago. Yeah, cost of living. I did a pretty comprehensive one back a couple of years ago. Towards the end of the video, I will put up right up here a card you can see in here, but be prepared. There are just multiple costs that's associated. It is the 3rd largest city. You're living in an urban metro area. It is going to be slightly expensive. So again, it's all relative, but just be aware. And of course, I'm here to answer any questions. There is a significant cost of living, not any more expensive than New York or LA or San Francisco, but it is up there. So it's something you should know. Of course, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the wonderful architecture, and specifically really strongly suggest, if you haven't already, and I wish I should do this as be a kind of a mini tourist, do the architectural tour. There are tours that are going now. We are kind of getting out of COVID and we're still in it, but do that architecture tour. It's wonderful. Before, maybe when you're getting a taste and you're coming here to visit, to kind of give an idea if you want to move to Chicago, do the architecture tour. Chicago is world renowned for their architecture. Definitely check that out. This is going to sound a little weird, but dibs. Dibs is unique to Chicago, is in the fabric of Chicago. Basically what it means is, particularly when there's a lot of snow, people actually put out furniture and hold spots, and it does exist, right? The city will try to deny it, but it does exist. So get ready for that. So it's important, if you have the means, to find an indoor parking spot. Particularly a lot of the condos have it included if you're purchasing, and I'm of course here to help. But dibs is uniquely Chicago. Festivals. Oh man, fest season is unbelievable here in Chicago. We only have a finite amount of time as far as summer months. So basically you have anywhere from about May up through September. Every single unique neighborhood has their own festivals. It's amazing time, beers, bands. It's just a wonderful time. So it doesn't matter if you're a young single professional, got kids, everyone goes there, has a great time. People bring their fur babies out. So festivals is something really exciting and something to look forward to, particularly if you're moving in, December, January, February, in the cold months. It's definitely something that us Chicagoans look forward to, is fest season. You want a yard? Head out to the suburbs. Nah, I'm kind of kidding. You can actually get a yard in some of the far north, or if you go far south, somewhere with a little bit more room. There's density, right? Remember that, there's density here in Chicago. You can get a yard, but it's probably not be something that you're accustomed to for where you're moving from. Now, of course, the lot sizes, which are standard, typically are 25 width by 125 deep. You can get a double lot. But that 125 is typically standard, but as I mentioned, there are some neighborhoods, if you go a little further north, I'm happy to help you with that if you actually want a yard. And most of those homeowners, particularly have the single family homes, which of course have a higher price point, they have a little area for a yard. But if you want that big yard, that's typically when it's suburban time. But here in the city, expect to have a smaller little plot for Fido to do his business, a little grass, but typically you don't have a really big yard. So that's something to know in Chicago. This has been 25 things you must know before moving to Chicago. Any questions? Call, text, email. Go below in the description. I have a Google form. You can fill out a quick questionnaire, particularly if you're a prospective buyer. And I'll have my number displaying on the screen. Now what I'd like you to do is one of two videos, as I mentioned earlier, cost of living in Chicago and transportation options in Chicago. Watch both of those. Keep on my channel and have a great day.